When you think of French autoloading heavy tanks, Armour is not the first thing that will ever come to mind. It's always the clip and as well the mobility. Vehicles like the AMX-50B, the 5120, and the AMX-5100 are all very, very quick, and they're also extremely deadly on the fantastic accuracy, penetration, and as well clipping potential they carry, respectively, for their tiers. The AMX-5100 is going to be the scope of today's video in comparison to the premium French autoloading heavy tank, which will be coming into the game probably pretty soon, the Somua SM. Now, they look very, very similar. However, they are very different in the ways they play, and that is because the Somua has a very strong armor. But not only does it have very strong armor, but as well, it's quite quick. In my opinion, it's a little bit busted in the current statistical state of the vehicle, but we're going to have to see how it does come out released, because we've also seen vehicles like the TS5, which everybody thought was going to be amazing, but it actually turned out to be just an average vehicle. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case for the Somua. This is exactly what the Somua looks like, and it will be coming out in the crates with a 4% drop chance. Yeah, hitting even lower than that normal 5 with that 4%. Now, I'm not sure, of course, how much money these crates are going to cost, but if we take a look, it says 2 rewards for an hour of premium, it says 9 hours of premium. I don't see gold anywhere in that drop list, though, which means that it's possible these crates are not going to cost what the normal crates are for, like, the TS5, where it costs flat-out money, because the TS5 crates, of course, drop gold, as you can read in the description here. Yeah, the Somua crates don't say that, so hopefully they're going to be cheaper, and they're going to cost gold, and you can get more. But of course, because of that, it has a lower drop chance. So I don't really know what to say about crates. I don't like crates personally, but at least they do drop the charms. I think the vehicle looks pretty cool, though, with the French flag plastered all over the tank. And wait until you see that armor. Now, frontally, it looks just like the AMX-5100. You can see here that if we look at the AMX-5100 and compare it to the Somua, you probably wouldn't even be able to know which one's which until I switched to AP. Yeah, that's right. The frontal armor on the Somua is over 240 millimeters thick. If you're using this thing hull down and angling it correctly, that upper plate is over 300 millimeters. Good luck penning that. Not only that, but the turret's quite strong. It's about 215, 202 millimeters thick. It used to be about 240, but Wargaming did nerf it, thankfully. It's also got a very strong, just overall chassis. Like, the side of it as well is 99 thick compared to the AMX 5100, and it's 35. Like, that's such a massive difference. And as well, the upper plate of the AMX is yeah, 140. It's literally almost double on the Somua. It's actually incredible how much armor this vehicle has. But as I did say, it does have a very, very weak turret. So we're going to have to see how this vehicle does work out, but side scraping capabilities are actually going to be very, very strong. Now, the rear armor is still quite weak at 40 millimeters on the upper bar and 40 on the lower. Yeah, quite easy to pen, and as well, the turret is only 40 as well. So yeah, it does have some big disadvantages going for it, especially when it comes to super heavily armored vehicles. That turret will be the downfall. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a downfall. If you know how to work this vehicle, angle that hull out, you might actually be able to get some very troll bounces. Now, the DPM is about 10% worse than the AMX 5100. So because of that, it does have a much longer clip reload of 3 seconds. That's massive. But of course, they both carry the exact same penetration on both the premium ammo and the standard, as they both carry basically the same guns, as you can see. So that's nothing too special. The aiming time is better on the AMX 5100, same for the base dispersion, and way, way better on the on-movement dispersion. But the Somua has 4 more degrees of gun depression, which in my opinion makes up for all of those disadvantages it has on aiming time dispersion and on movement there as well, because gun depression is very, very important. It gives your hull armor way more thickness, and as well, you just have the ability to work any ridgeline. As well, it's a pretty quick tank. Sure, it's not as quick as a vehicle, let's say, like the AMX 5100, but the AMX is basically a medium tank at that. If we were to get out, let's say, like your average heavy, the Emil 1, the Emil 1's power to weight is way, way worse, 18% worse than the Somua. So that's going to give the Somua a great amount of acceleration. It's got a good top speed of 40, goes reverse at 20, very, very quick. It's got pretty solid traverse speed as well, so overall, I think the tank's going to be very, very strong. And one thing that's great about it is it's got a very quick intra clip. I don't remember exactly what it is. Actually, I guess it is 3 seconds. It used to be quicker. It used to be about 2.6 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, but seems like Wargaming nerfed that as well. I did know they nerfed it a little bit, but I wasn't 100% sure how much. But yeah, that's pretty big nerfs. Wargaming nerfed the intra clip, which was very strong, and as well, they nerfed the turret armor. I actually think the vehicle looks pretty solid, but the issue here is it still seems basically better in most aspects to the AMX 5100, especially when you compare that upper plate armor. Now, we're going to show a game in the AMX 5100 to talk about just what makes this vehicle so dang strong, the advantages and disadvantages you're going to see in this game, and what would make it so much better against vehicles that, well, you're just going to see in this game scenarios that I could have worked in the Somua where you really can't in this vehicle. But at the same time, that mobility is very, very nice on this tank. So the question is, do you like mobility, or do you like spending a lot of money on crates and then getting a tank that has armor? Yeah, I always got to add in those crates. Crates are not a great deal in my opinion. I would highly suggest to save your money. A good example of this is a vehicle like the 112-2. That thing came out in crates 2 years ago. You know what now? That tank is super freaking cheap, and that goes for a lot of vehicles at tier 8. They always come very expensive when they first come out, but now a vehicle like the Centurion Dingo or whatever it is, that vehicle, it's already coming down to like 12,500 gold, where it was in crates the last time, which was just a couple months ago. So it is very easy to save money if you just don't buy the tanks the first month, or whatever, you know, the first time they do come out. That would be my advice. Don't buy the Somua. I always give this advice. Just don't gamble your money on crates apart from like the first cheap bundle. So in this game here, I haven't reloaded my other 2 shells, and I think I actually made the right move here. You always got to make a decision. Is it worth it to reload your entire clip if you shoot 1 or 2 off, if you're going to have no shots within the next 20 seconds? That is the rule of thumb I always go for. It's what a lot of super unis sometimes do. It's something that's, you know, pretty common sense. If you've got 2 shells in your clip and you see an opponent that you're gonna have to shoot your shells. If you're not, and you see, well, I'm probably not going to have to shoot for the next 20 seconds, start reloading. Never want to waste DPM in these types of vehicles. Now, I'm, of course, going to get an HE to the side of that Type 62 there, but this guy, he is really, really friggin' aggressive this game, but he's going to make one fatal move, which you're going to see I'm about to take advantage of. Boom! 340 on the ram, and again, I'm going to repair my track and give him another bit of a love tap, and goodbye. Boom, he is dead. Then we're going to start shooting at the T-29. Because I didn't have to waste a shell on that guy, we're able to finish off the T-29, and we would have been able to, even if we hadn't had my teammate shoot that guy. And we're going to put on our auto-aim, get a nice snap into the RHM, and with that, we're already sitting over 3,000 damage, which is pretty dang solid when you do think about it. We took over 500 off of that Type 62 with just ramming. Now, this did turn out to be a very weird battle. I've got 605 health, and I just watched that Emil clip out my teammate. What that means is I've got plenty of time to get 1 shell into the Emil, right into his lower plate. But we're going to fire this one, and it just doesn't go where I want it to, which really, really sucks. But are we going to get this one out? No, as well. Unfortunately, the shell did not go where I aimed and hit him in the front instead of the side. Because of that, we just lost a huge chunk of potential damage there, about 600. And yeah, now I'm in a bit of a predicament. But thankfully, I back up way quicker than this guy accelerates. I go 20 in reverse, and that tank only goes about 30 forward, so I do have that advantage going for me, but we're going to try and get 1 shell into the Emil. But now I'm in a very, very tricky situation, and yeah, I'm going to angle the tank frontally, we're going to shoot an HE to the side of him, and he bounces! Now this is an example where I would not have been penetrated in the Somua. I just wouldn't have. And as well, when I was up against that Type 62, against that T-29 as well, those vehicles would have had a very, very tricky time penetrating me unless they shot the turret. That Type 62 in no way would have been penning me, which shows where this tank is very, very strong in certain aspects. Now, this wasn't an incredible game, but we still did do 4,200 damage. And it shows that even in a vehicle that has very little armor, you can do extremely well if you play it correctly. And man, does the AMX ever profit from a fantastic game like that. 15 shells fired and only 1 missed. But the ones that bounced really shouldn't have made bounces. I could have done at least 4,600 there, probably even mastered the tank. So yeah, sometimes luck is not on my side. But hey, that is the AMX. I think it's going to be kind of a mix between the AMX and this vehicle here. Just expect this with a 3-shell autoloader, and that's basically the Somua. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. If you would like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.